I read the stories on that flood that's in the Bible of Genesis, right? So what I'm going to do, right, I'm going to contradict it, and y'all figure this out, because I'm reading the version of the flood and Epic of Gilgamesh. Now, bear with me, yo. They got some weird names up in this mug. I told you these are Sumerian Anunnaki gods with the weirdest names. So just bear with me, y'all. Now, this is for educational purposes only. Like I said, y'all, I don't care what y'all think, y'all. Only thing I got to say is that Bible is flawed. You know the city of Shiropak, it stands on the banks of Euphrates. The city grew old, and the gods that were in it. There was a new Lord of a firmament, their father and warrior Enlil, their consul, Nerota, the helper, and Enagi, watcher over Canal. And with them also was E. In those days the world teemed, the people multiplied. The world bellowed like a wild bull, and a great God was aroused by the clamor. Enlil heard the clamor, and he said to the gods and council, the uproar of mankind is intolerable, and sleep is no longer possible by reason of the Babel. So the gods agreed to exterminate mankind. Enlil did this. But E, because of his oath, warned me in a dream. He whispered the words to my house of reeds. Reed house, wall, oh wall. Hecken, reed house, wall reckon. No man of Shurapat, son of Ibra Tutu, tear down your house and built a boat, abandon possessions, and look for life. Despise worldly good and save your own soul alive. Tear down your house, I say built the boat. These are the measurements of the barque, as you shall build her. Let her beam equal her length. Let her depth be roofed like a vault that covers the abyss. Then take into the boat and seize all living creatures. Sound like Genesis. Like I said, Genesis is made up, y'all. This is a Sumerian tablet story, y'all. When I had understood, I stood to my Lord. Behold, what you have commanded, I will honor and perform. But how shall I answer the people, the city, the elders? Then he opened his mouth and said to me, his servant, tell him this. I learned that Enlil is wrathful against me. I dare no longer walk to his land nor live in his city. I will go down to the Gulf and dwell with E, my Lord. But on you I will rain down abundance. Red fish shall wild fold, rich harvest tide. In the evening, the rider of the storm will bring you wheat in torrents. In the first light of dawn, all my household gathered all around me. Children brought patch, and the men whatever was necessary. On the fifth day I laid and kneeled in the ribs. Then I made fast and packling. The ground space was 1 acre. Each side of a deck measured 100 and 200 cubic. making a square, and built 6 decks below, 7 in all, divided them into 9 sections with bolts, heads between, and drove the wedges while needed. I saw the pent poles and laid in supplies. The carriers brought old baskets. I poured patch into the furnace and absorbed and more oil was consumed in caulking, and more. Again, the master of the boat took him to its stores. I slaughtered bullocks for the people, and every day I killed sheep. I gave the shipwrecks wine and drink as though it were river waters, raw wine, red wine, and old and white wine. There was feasting in there. At that time of the New Year's festival, I myself anointed my head. On the 7th day, the boat was complete. Then was a launching full of difficulty. There was shifting and ballast over below to thirds was submerged. I loaded into her, and all I had of gold and of living things, my family, my kin, the beasts of the field, both wild and tamed, and all the craftsmen. I sent them on board for the time that Shamash I ordained was already fulfilled when he said in the evening, when the raider of storms sent down to destroy rain, when the boat battered her down, the time was fulfilled, the evening came, raider the storm sent down the rain. I looked out at the weather and it was terrible. So I too aboard the boat, battered her down. All was complete, the battering and calculating. So I handed the tiller to Purzu Mori, the steersman with the navigation that cared of the whole boat. With the first light of dawn, black clouds came from the horizon. It thundered within. Adad, Lord o'er the storm, was riding. In front over the hill, plain Sherlat and Hanish. Heard of storms heard on. The gods of the abyss rose up. Nergal pulled out the dams and neither waters. Nerata, the warlord, threw down the dikes and the 7 judges of hell. The Anunnaki raised their torches, lighting the land with their livid flame. Istepar, despair, went up to heaven when the god of the storm turned daylight to darkness. When he smashed the land with a cup, the whole day, the tempest raged, gathered fear as it went. It pulled over the people like the tides of battle. A man could not see his brother, nor people be seen from heaven. Even the gods was terrified at the flood. They fled to the highest heaven. The firmament of Anu, they crouched against the walls, cowering like curs. Then Ishtar, a sweet-voiced queen of heaven, cried out like a woman in Carvel. Alas, the day of old are turned to dust, because I command evil. When I did, I command this evil in the council of all the gods. I commanded wars to destroy the people, but are they not my people? For I brought them forth. Now like the spawn of fish, they float in the ocean. The great gods of heaven and of hell wept. They covered their mouths for 7 days. My bad, I'm sorry. For 6 days and 6 nights. The winds blew, torrent tempest, the flood overwhelmed the world. Tempting rage floods together like warring hosts. When the 7th day dawned, the storm for the south besides the sea grew calm. The flood was still. I looked at the face of the world and there was silence. All mankind was turned to clay. The surface of the sea stretches flat as a rooftop. I opened the hatch and the light fell on my face. Then I bowed low and sat down and I wept, and tears streamed down my face. For every side was a waste of water. I looked for land in vain. For 14 leagues distant there appeared a mountain, and the mountain there the boat grounded on the mountain of Nazir. The boat held fast and she held fast and did not budge. One day she held, and the second day on the mountain of Nishar, she held fast and did not budge. The third day and the fourth day, she held fast on the mountain and did not budge. A fifth day and a sixth day, she fell fast on the mountain. When the 7th day dawned, I loosed a dove and let her go. Almost familiar, just like the catastrophic flood that's in the Bible. She flew away. By finding a resting place, she returned. Then I loosed a swallow, and she flew away. By finding no resting place, she returned. I loosed a raven. She saw the waters had retreated. She ate. She flew around. She cowered. She did not come back. Then I threw everything open. In the four winds, I made a sacrifice and pulled out a liberation on a mountaintop. 7 and again 7 cattle rods I set up on their stands. I held up wood, cane, cedar, and myrtle. When the gods smelt the sweet savor, they gathered like flies over the sacrifice. Then at last, Ashtar also came. She left her necklace with the jewels of heaven that once a new had. Made to please her, O you gods, you present, by the lapis lazuli around my neck, I shall remember these days as I remember the jewels of my throat. These last days I shall not forget. Let all the gods gather around the sacrifice except Enlil. He shall not approach this offering, for without reflection he brought the flood. He consigned my people to destruction. When Enlil had come, when he saw the boat, he was wrath. He swelled with anger at the gods, the hosts of heaven. Has any of these mortals escaped? Not one was supposed to have survived during this destruction. Then the god of the wells and the canal Ninurta opened his mouth and said to the warrior Enlil, "Who is there of the gods that can despise without E? It is E alone who knows all things." Then E opened his mouth and spoke to warrior Enlil, "Wisest of gods, hero Enlil, how could you so senseless bring down the flood? Lay upon the sinner his sin. Lay upon the transgressor his transgression. Punish him a little when he breaks loose. Do not drive him too hard, or he perishes. Would that the lion have ravished mankind rather than the flood? Would that a wolf have avenged mankind rather than the flood? Would that famine have wasted the world rather than the flood? Would that pestilence he wasteland rather than the flood? It was not that revealed the secret of the gods." Repeat that again. I'm gonna repeat this again. Would the pestilence have waste mankind rather than the word? It was not that revealed that the secret of the gods, the wise man learned it in a dream. Now take your counsel what shall be done with him. Then Enlil went up into the boat. He took me by the hand and my wife and made us into the boat and kneeled down on either side. He stand between us. He touched our foreheads to bless us, saying, "In time past, Unit Hishtim, Una Hishtim." Told you, man, these words, man. "Is a mortal man. Henceforth he and his wife shall live in a distance at the mouth and the rivers. Thus it was the gods took me and placed me to live in a distance at the mouth of the rivers." Well, like I said, man, this sounds familiar. It sounds like the Noah's Ark. There was a lot of add-ons in that catastrophic Bible. You feel me? But, like I said, man, what do y'all think, yo? Like, do y'all think that Gilgamesh tablets was real? Or do y'all think that that catastrophic flood is authentic? You feel me? Make sure y'all hit that like button and subscribe. And I'm gone.
If you reach for my chain, I'm going to send your ass to God. Don't ask me about my pieces or you will see Jesus. I'm just letting you know, if you so happen to look at my chain, I'm going to blow your ass off. If you so happen to ask, bro, Hero, can I touch your chain? I'm going to blow your ass off. If you so happen to just stare at my chain, I'm going to blow your ass off.